Hey guys, Braden with Outdoor Manly bringing you another blade review. Bam! CRKT Fossil Compact with the VEF serrations. This one right here hasn't been released yet. This is the SHOT Show 2015 model. And like I said, this is the compact model. This one right here has the titanium nitride finish as well. So this is it's basically a smaller version of the really popular Fossil, CRKT Fossil, designed by Flavio Icoma, I think is how his name is. On the CRKT site, MSRP is running at like $89.99. So you might be able to pick this bad boy up on like Blade HQ or something like that for, I don't know, 50, 60 bucks. Let's kind of dive into the specifics of the blade, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts and impressions on having carried it for quite a little while. I got this blade from Ben at CRKT. He wanted to just kind of give me a little heads up and just let me use it for a while, see what I thought, which I'm super grateful for because this blade has been awesome. And I'll tell you about it here in a second. So the overall length on the knife is about 7 3/4 inches, a little bit less than that actually, just 7 3/4. Closed length, this weighs just completely shut, is about 4 1/4 inches. The weight, you're looking at about 4 ounces, so kind of hefty for that size, but with good reason. The blade itself is 3.4 inches, so almost 3.5 inches long, and the thickness on the blade is about 0.1 of an inch, so 1/10 of an inch. So it's an interesting blade. I mean, it's relatively thin. It's a pretty good slicer, especially with the nice dual bevel here. And it's a hollow grind, drop point design, obviously. And like I said, it has the VEF serrations. The steel on this guy, 8CR13 MOV. And like I said, the gray titanium nitride. The handle material is going to be stainless steel with a G10, kind of like a really custom feel to it though. But it's a G10 overlay over the stainless steel handle, and it just has little notches like chunked out of the stainless steel or out of the G10 and the stainless steel. It's kind of like a hammered finish on the stainless steel, and then the G10 kind of just is really. It looks pretty rough. It's kind of like, I don't even know what you'd call it, but it's just very textured. It looks like he just took like a little Dremel tool with a little wheel on it and just kind of hit it every so often. And it's very interesting on how CRKT is able to get these to the point where they can mass produce something that's this custom looking and feeling. And essentially, this is a frame lock, even though technically it's, not the outermost portion, but it is a frame lock. The hardest part, being steel, is on the inside there. And the clip itself, or the carrying, pocket clip, it's just one position. It's kind of hokey, like as far as the design of it. It's kind of crazy, but I think with good reason. Not because I'm partial to CRKT in any way, but just through using it and working with it, I feel like it works, and I feel like it's kind of cool, and I'll kind of go into detail on that and everything like that. It's a flipper design, obviously, as well as you also have the thumb orifice. I don't even know if that's all. I mean, yeah, it's a hole, but it's not like a normal hole. It's a crazy looking thing, and this thing's called the Fossil. I mean, it kind of looks. I showed this to my wife, and I was like, "What does this look like?" She's like, "Kind of looks like a fossil," and I was like, "No kidding." Fossil, and she was pretty excited about that. It's pretty funny. So yeah, VEF serrations, love those. I think the VEF serrations are awesome. We'll kind of start away from the blade and work our way back, and I'll talk about the very specific parts about the blade and kind of what I think about it. But I love these VEF serrations. I wish more blades had VEF serrations. I'm usually not a big fan of serrations. My favorite serrations being Spyderco Spider Edge. If there was VEF serrations along the whole edge of the blade, I would buy that blade. And here's the reason why. These VEF serrations don't fray things. It's not super aggressive. It's just pretty much a bunch of like tips of the knife here, tips of that little point, and they're kind of just put into the blade. It's not aggressive at all. You can get a nice even cut with these guys if you need to. but they're also there if you wanted to do a pullback cut as opposed to like a pushing cut. If you want to do a pullback, they will do a little bit of ripping, and that's what they're for. And I'm a big fan of VEF serrations. I just really like the way that they're executed, especially on this fossil. But kind of going back to the blade, like I said, gray titanium nitride finish. The nitride finishes, at least that I've had, being come in contact with CRKT, wear very well. It's not like the cold steel versions, which kind of just like rub off the first thing you pass it through. Like you pass it through one thing of cardboard, it already starts coming off. These guys wear really good. I mean, obviously it'll be on the high wear areas, such as the ridges here on the blade. It does have a nice little swedge on top. Like I said, this is the SHOT Show 2015 version. So the deployment hole, getting back to that. So yes, this is a flipper design. It has IKBS, which is their bearing system. Essentially, if you can see that little diagram right there, it's a bunch of, if you guys know what a bearing is, it's just a ring, a metal ring, and it has a bunch of little balls that are like greased up in there, and it has a little, and it's sealed in there, and the whole thing runs on that. So there's a bunch of balls just propelling it, and it makes it for this. It feels like an assisted opener, but it's not. It's just so smooth, and that's what the bearing system's for. Bearings are meant to be smooth, fast, and work for a long time. There's no torsion on it at all. So if you know what I mean, like if I were to take an assisted blade and pull back the liner lock or whatever locking mechanism and just open it a little bit, no pressure on it at all or anything like that, it wouldn't just fly open. This thing is not under any sort of pressure. The whole thing is just run on that super smooth bearing system. And the nice thing about bearings is that, like I said, they're totally self-contained, so they're going to last you for a long time. Now getting back to the hole, I have, to open it with this hole, I've kind of had to experiment. I can't do it with my thumb, really. It's really hard. You have to get in, so you have to get your thumb meat like into the hole, and then as you kind of push in like that, you also have to push up, and it's kind of a pain. Like I can't do it all the time. So what you're gonna have to do is either do it really slow, or do it with 2 fingers, or maybe just your back middle finger, because the pressure on it has to be in such a way to where it'll open. So pretty much preferred is going to be the flipper. The hole is nice, I guess, for gloves. I would have preferred thumb studs. They probably would have made it a lot easier. But I pretty much just pinch it right there, open it a little bit, and then just lift my middle finger off and let my thumb do the rest here. But yeah, I mean, super fast, obviously. It has a nice little choil right here. Is you go into the handle, and like I said, the handle is stainless steel. Just a typical stainless steel. It's not the 8CR variety that the blade is. And the blade out of the box just comes razor sharp. Very sharp. I mean, if you look on the tips of my fingers, that is from actually closing and opening the blade. So what happens is, since the blade is contoured and textured so well, and what I mean by that is it's ergonomic. The handle itself is so ergonomic. It doesn't look like it would be at all. It looks like it would be really hard. It looks like it would be kind of spiky and uncomfortable. But when your hand sinks into it, it fits perfectly. It's like you're not even holding a blade there. It just locks in. And then you just have this huge blade protruding out of there. But the way how you close it, how I close it, is I'm like this. Right here, push the liner lock over, and then as I flick this down, this ring finger always seems to be right there waiting for that front VEF serration. This one right there. And it's just been destroying it. It kind of sucks. So you got to make sure you put your hands pretty far back. It kind of feels weird, but that's the best way to do it, man, unless you want to get your ring finger all calloused and scabbed up. So diving back into the handle material, it is a very hammered stainless steel. Looks beautiful. It does have a big back spacer here, which is nice. I'm not a big fan of the flow-through designs. They do save weight, but I like the look of a nice back spacer. It adds to the structural rigidity, even though it's really not going to pay that much, or it's not going to give you that much value as far as strength. I'm just a fan. I think it looks nice. said that the lock is strong. This model, you'll always have to look, obviously, at each individual blade, depending on its use, but centering was perfect right out of the box. The actual lockup is nice, 25%, that's what you want. Basically 25% of the actual lock is on the blade surface, which gives you a lot of time and use with this blade, because if this liner lock was totally 100% on the blade surface, that means just in a few months your lock would be over engaging and it would be really hard to use, and your blade would start failing, or the lock system would become dangerous to use. So this thing came flawless out of the box, and like I said, this G10 is beautiful. It has a lot of depth to it, and you can really see in there. I'll have to turn on the flashlight so you can see down in there. But you can see on the side, it's so delicate. I don't know if my camera's going to capture it, but there's different layers here inside the G10. This is like layered G10. It's not just one color. So as they did these little, drill downs or these little perforations into the G10, you can kind of see all the different, it's like a jawbreaker, all the different layers beneath each one, and they textured it so well. It looks like it would be not pleasant to hold, but it is soft and supple. Not soft, actually soft, but it just feels great. I really can't explain it. It's witchcraft. CRKT is a freaking witchcraft company. There's a minimal amount of jimping right up here at the very top of the blade. You can kind of see the rough portion. Pretty much useless, but it's there. As far as the whole traction plan of the blade, the main thing is that flipper is gonna, as well as these finger indentations, are pretty much gonna keep your blade locked, or keep your hand locked onto the blade, and your blade's not gonna move around anywhere. Very, very nicely done grinding. It is pretty much flawless. Like I said, razor sharp. Let's kind of move our way down here. It does have some stylistic influence right here, as well as on the back of the back spacer. And it's a pretty blade, man. I mean, yeah, for the weight you can get bigger, better, whatever, but it is a very stylistically advanced blade. It feels like a custom. It really does. It feels like a custom, and it does, and it kind of brings that experience with it at a nice affordable price. I would have no problem giving this to a guy who would thrash it at the same time, because I know it's not going to break my bank, but it's just a nice knife. I think if you want to get somebody in the CRKT, give them a Fossil. Let's kind of dive into the clip. The clip material is very thin. That would be my one criticism against it, but it is mounted in such a way to where it's gonna last you pretty good. You may have to take it off, and as you can see, this one, I mount this on my 511 pants, and if you know anything about 511 tactical pants, the pockets have double stitching around where the pocket knife should go, which means that the clip is going to get bent out of shape quite a bit and distorted. So let me see if I can move my finger. So as you can see, it's kind of getting away from the blade itself, or the handle. It's fine if there's a little bit of space, but once you get too much, it's not going to stay on there, and then one day when you go hiking or walking or you brush up against something, this thing's just going to totally get peeled out. The clip's design is kind of wavy, funky, weird, but it kind of fits along with the feel of the knife. I think stylistically it works. Utilitarian, like if you take a utilitarian perspective, it's just unneeded fluff, but whatever. Now it's interesting the way they mounted this. They didn't want this directly onto the G10, so they put these right here are kind of like polymer, huge. So these are screws that are mounted into the stainless steel frame, but they have these little polymer sleeves that are in between the clip to give it some distance between the G10 at the mounting point. That's fine, whatever. I just have a feeling that when I need to take the clip off, take it apart and rebend it back to shape, it's going to be a pain, especially to deal with all these parts and everything like that. It's just a little too complex. Like I said, this knife isn't meant to be super, hard user, everything like that. This is meant to be a stylistically advanced knife. And this knife definitely delivers on style and innovative designs. It's very fast. I would have no problem thumping on this knife at the same time, because the blade shape and just the materials that are involved in it are all very strong, very well constructed. There is no up and down, no side to side whatsoever. This thing is locked in there. You can adjust the pivots. It's just one side, which is nice. I don't like the dual pivots. It creates too many variables for play. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much the knife in a nutshell. It's a beautiful blade. I would definitely recommend it for the price for anybody who really want to get into maybe some prettier design knives or something like that. CRKT really did a home run on the Fossil. Flavio did a home run on the Fossil, and how I understand CRKT's process to work is that they basically have their designers make the custom knife, they give it to CRKT, and CRKT figures out how to mass produce it at a price that works for us. So that's kind of my review here. CRKT Fossil Compact. This one, like I said, the gray titanium nitride finish one with the VEF serrations, and the limited edition SHOT Show 2015. Alright guys, so if you like what you see, like, subscribe, comment, do your thing. Let me know if you guys want to see more of this, or maybe you want me to do a giveaway. So, anyways guys, thanks for checking this blade review out. This is the CRKT Fossil Compact. Outdoor Manly. Peace out guys.